When learning a gospel song, do I learn the melody line first or the chords first? Well, that's a great question. And the answer is that it's whichever comes easy to you, whether you start with a melody line or the bass line, whatever comes naturally to your ear. But it is important, however, to know the melody line at least, whether it's after you've learned the chords or before, because the melody line will dictate the chord inversion that you will use. Now, every man and his cat probably knows that a C major chord is made of the note C, E, G. Now, if you don't know this, then it's probably because you haven't taken the basic piano course here at Cooper's Keys. So if you happen to be in that group that says, look, this is going a little too fast for me and I really can't keep up, then I suggest you take a look at that course where we start from the beginning, the building blocks, and I explain clearly how all these things work. So right, we all know that to make a C major chord we need the note C, E, G, but only the next level musician knows that every major triad has three basic shapes. The first one is the one that every man and the cat knows. C is at the bottom, followed by E and then G. It's the basic configuration of the C major chord. Now the next configuration is when we flip the chord up and we get C on top and then E and G underneath C. Now the third shape or the last configuration of C would be where we flip the E to the top and then we get the notes G, C and E in that order. Okay, that's great. Only good musicians know how to use inversions. They're not just for spicing things up. They really do help us keep the melody line on top, and it makes the song that much more better. For gospel musicians especially, the melody line will determine the chord inversion that you use. Let's take the song As the Deer, which is the song that we'll be studying for the majority of this course. Doesn't matter if you know the song yet or not. If you don't, I suggest you listen to it. But I will be playing the melody line for you, so it doesn't matter too much. So the melody line for As the Deer is as follows for the first part. I will repeat, but this time with the chords that go along with the melody. So we have C, G, A minor, or for the next level musician, that is 1, 5, and then 6 in any key. Now, if you play the melody line and the chords in the same hand, then I would have to use these inversions. Why? Because I need to keep the melody line on top. So the first note is E, so which inversion has E at top? And the first chord is also C and the note is E, so we have to use the third inversion. Problem with the first inversion is that it puts E in the middle and G is on the top, so people can't really hear the melody. But the third shape has E on top, so it's perfect. So the next melody note doesn't really have a chord, it's just a G by itself. Now in music and in songs in general, there isn't always going to be a chord for every melody note that you play, otherwise it would be too cluttered. So we have a G by itself and then a G again. The second time we play the G, it's met with a G chord. Now remember, you're playing the melody and the chord in your right hand, so pick the correct inversion. The first inversion of G has G at the bottom. It's way off. We definitely want to avoid using this configuration of G. So we use the second shape, which has G on top conveniently. Now remember, to invert, we just flip the bottom note and take it to the top. So far, we're doing great. You're doing great. C to G, and then we have two melody notes, okay? So far, we've covered the chords C and G. Then we have two melody notes, E, D, and then the next melody note is C. But C is joined with an A minor chord. What inversion of the A minor chord do you think would be appropriate? You might want to pause the video and try and work this one out. If you say that it is the third inversion, then you're absolutely correct. Now, here's what great musicians do. Unless they want to avoid the melody altogether and completely, great musicians will play the melody with the chord inversion that keeps the melody on top, and then they will extend the chord. So they'll have the left hand play the quote-unquote backing track, the accompanying chords, and extend it to the right hand but keep the melody on top. And this gives a sound that is rich, a sound that is full, and it sounds powerful. And you're going to be doing this very soon. So for as the day, if I was to do this technique where I play the melody line, keeping it on top with the chords, and I'm extending the chords, making it sound full and rich, which is what we're here to learn, it would sound something like this.